Hello everyone, welcome back to our lectures. Today we'll be talking about alcohols, and particularly we're focusing on nomenclature. So today's lesson is alcohols, their nomenclature, or you just say alcohols nomenclature. So I have a good image of ethanol. This is the image of ethanol that I just drew here. This is ethanol. Ethanol is very common alcohol used every day for various things, particularly consumption. So if this is carbon, this is carbon, this is hydrogen, this is oxygen. So all alcohols are known by containing this functional group. This functional group is what we call the hydroxyl functional group. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this lesson. Let us take it off from there immediately. As usual, I have a beautiful quote from a great leader and a professor and a politician. He says differences can be strength. Differences can be a strength rather than a handicap. This was a quote by Condoleezza Rice. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's a food for thought. Let us just immediately jump into what we need to do, to the business of the day. Now, at the end of this class, the two learning objectives we intend to cover are, number one, we're going to name and draw the structural formulas of alcohols and phenols. And then secondly, we're going to classify alcohols as either primary, secondary, or tertiary based on the structural formula. So these are the two main things we're going to be doing in this particular lesson. Let's move on immediately. So let's introduce alcohol. First of all, alcohols are known, like I said earlier, by the OH functional group. Like I said, this is the OH functional group. This must be attached to a carbon. The OH functional group is called the hydroxyl group, the hydroxyl functional group. And it is what gives alcohols their characteristics, properties. So we're going to be talking about those as we move on. Now, therefore, what are alcohols? Alcohols are compounds in which the OH groups, like I said, the OH group is attached to an aliphatic carbon. Remember earlier when we introduced the aliphatic. Aliphatic include any non-aromatic group. That means they have open chain, they have they could be non-aromatic cyclic chain, or they can be branched. So those are what I mean. Now, and the general formula is ROH. RO can be any length of any hydrocarbon chain, and then OH. And then the other group we're going to be talking about is phenols. Phenols are compounds in which the one of the hydrogen has been replaced by the OH group. So what it simply means is that the OH group is connected to a benzene ring. The OH group is connected to a benzene ring. In fact, they are the aromatic alcohols, and they are built on the structural basics of the phenol. Now, you see, this is the benzene ring. This is the aromatic nucleus connected to OH, making this a phenol. So every other aromatic alcohol will be derived from these phenols. So if I have an attachment here, I can now name it based on phenols, just as we did when we talked about the aromatic, the aromatic class, the aromatic compounds, when we talked about also the unsaturated hydrocarbons and compounds. We talked about how to name these phenols. So but we're going to get to this again and also recap what we did there. So this is a very good example. So this is an aromatic. Let me just say aromatic. This is an aromatic alcohol. Aromatic alcohol. Aromatic. Let me write aromatic alcohol. On the other hand, we have ethanol here, like I already used this in my title page as an example. Ethanol is called ethyl alcohol in its common nomenclature. The common nomenclature is ethyl alcohol. Now, the IUPAC name is ethanol. So ethyl means this is a ethyl group connected to an OH group. That's why we call it ethyl alcohol. So ethanol is what? Is an aliphatic. This is aliphatic alcohol because it is connected to a carbon that is not a benzene ring. Let's see some examples. Alcohols constitute an important class of compounds that are abundant in our environment every day, most of which we also consume. You know, like glucose itself is a type of alcohol, you know. So we have a lot of them. So let's see some examples here. Menthol. Menthol is a common ingredient in most of the rubbing balms
and then even in some of the cough drops around. So this is the structure of menthol. In fact, if you want to see the OH group that makes it an alcohol. If you want to name this through the systemic way, we're going to talk about the nomenclature. So menthol can be named. If I count it now, my alcohol usually gets number 1. So if I count it 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3. But here 1, 2. So I have this one taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I want to name this now, look at what I'm going to say. If I remove this dotted attachment now, it's going to become cyclohexanol. Because the ring is cyclohexane, this is cyclohexanol, and the attachment in 2 and 5. So I'm going to say 2-isopropyl, this is methyl group, 5-methyl, then cyclohexanol. So don't be detailed about nomenclature. We're not doing it yet. I'm just giving you a kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing as we move on. Now, a very common compound that we talk about every day, particularly it has been implicated in causing heart disease and strokes and all the rest of them, is cholesterol. Cholesterol is also an alcohol. Look at the functional group. So this is cholesterol. And you see, cholesterol has a fused ring structure. Usually this is this 4 fused ring structure, and then it has a hydrocarbon chain attached at this point. So this is a methyl group, and then we have hydrogen and hydrogen at this point. So this is cholesterol, the cholesterol itself. Now we have glycerol, which is very common. Glycerol is also called, okay, the systemic name is 1,2,3-propen triol. No, propen. I need to put the E. Propen triol. That's the common name. So this is glycerol, which is also common used, is a common lubricant, also used as in making most of the lotions and creams we use to maintain our skins and all the rest of them. Very common as well. And then this is methanol. Methanol is also common. Methanol is called methyl alcohol. This is the methyl alcohol, relatively another common one, although not good for consumption. This is a methyl alcohol because it also have methyl group. That's what we call it, methyl alcohol. And then this is ethanol. I already talked about this already. When I had the structure in the last slide. This is ethanol again. This is called ethyl alcohol because these 2 carbons here. So these are common examples. Now let's get to the crux of the matter without much ado. Now there are classes of alcohol. Remember, this is one of the objectives. We're going to now know alcohols and classify them based on primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohol. That's exactly what I do. So there are 3 classes of alcohol depending on the number of either the hydrocarbon chain R group or the number of hydrogen attached to the carbon that has the OH group. If you look at one thing common now, remember every alcohol, particularly the aliphatic alcohol, must be known by having a carbon that is attached to OH group. This is common to both of them. Okay, let me show you with this color. This is common here. You must have OH group attached to a particular carbon. Now, what determines whether it is primary or secondary or tertiary is the number of R group attached to it. Now, look at this now. There is 1 R group attached to this carbon and 2 hydrogen. So I usually tell students, one way you can identify a primary alcohol is to look at that carbon that contains the alcohol. How many hydrogen does it contain? So here, let's see. Here has, I'm going to use my blue. There are 1 R group. Look at, there's 1 R group here. Either contain 1 R group or 2 hydrogens. Look at it. There's a hydrogen here and there's a hydrogen. So 2 hydrogen atoms attached at that carbon. Now again, this is a primary alcohol. In secondary alcohol, when there is what? In secondary alcohol, there is 2 R groups. Look at it. There are 2 R groups here. This is okay. I'm going to use my blue. There's an R group here. The blue did not come out. Okay. There's R group and another R group. So there are 2 R groups attached to this carbon that has the alcohol groups. Or you see, there's only one what? 1 hydrogen. Or 1 hydrogen attached to it. That is how you identify a secondary alcohol. A tertiary alcohol, on the other hand, has no hydrogen. Look at it. This carbon now that has the OH group has no hydrogen. So it just has what? 3 what? 3 R groups. So it has 3 R groups. So you can just say it has 3 R groups. 3 R groups and no hydrogen at that carbon. So this is how you identify both the primary, the secondary, or tertiary alcohols. So we're going to see this with this first reflection problem. It says, classify the following as primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohol. The best way to solve this problem, test student, is to first of all make sure you draw out all the hydrogens on that carbon that contains the OH group. So I'm going to want to draw, and you know, carbon must have 4 bonds. So make sure it satisfies the 4 bonds. So I'm going to open it up the structure. So now this is that carbon. Of course, there's a carbon here. It has OH group, satisfying one of the bonds, 2, 3. So it has one more. You need one more what? Hydrogen. So there's a hydrogen here. So when there is one hydrogen, you can go back to this. When there is one hydrogen or 2 arrow groups, what do you see? You see a secondary alcohol. So that you can also help yourself by saying, okay, there are 2 arrow groups. What are the arrow groups? This is an arrow group now, which is a methyl group. This is another arrow group. So this is attached to this, and 1 hydrogen. So here, this is what? A what? This is a tertiary alcohol. It has only 1 hydrogen. Now let's go to the second one. In this one, again, there's a carbon here, and there are 2 bonds. So to satisfy this, there has to be 2 hydrogens here. When there are 2 hydrogens or 1 arrow group, remember this is the arrow group. There are 2 hydrogens, either 1 arrow group or 2 hydrogens. What do you have? You're going to be having, remember, okay, let me put arrow here, make sure you don't forget it. So there's 1 arrow group or 2 hydrogens. This is going to be a primary alcohol. And the last one, but not the least, let's see what this one is. Now, this is the carbon that has the hydrogen. This carbon now contains how many bonds? 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, there's no hydrogen. When there is no hydrogen, it's a tertiary alcohol. Or you can also count your arrow groups. Look at the arrow groups. This is an arrow group, and this. So there's arrow prime, prime. Okay, let me put this one as R and arrow prime. Yeah. So it has 3 arrow groups without hydrogen. Therefore, this is what? A tertiary alcohol. This is how we solve these problems. All right, we now go to the next thing, which is the main thing we're going to be dealing with. Most of the time we're going to spend will be on the nomenclature for alcohol, particularly the IUPAC nomenclature. As traditional as I do, remember again, I always bring out my IUPAC flow chart. Remember, every IUPAC flow chart will have the prefix, the root, and the ending. The prefix, again, is the number and identity of any attachment. The longest chain, the root is the longest hydrocarbon chain. And then the ending is the functional class. In this case, our ending is going to be what? OL. Remember, in this case, every ending is going to be OL. That is what makes it an alcohol. Remember, another name for the alcohol groups, they're also called the alkanols. In fact, that is where they get those names from. Alkanols. Alkanols. So this all, okay, let me just say alkanol. It is this particular OL, that's where they get the name. So they're also called the alkanols. This OL is the name you see there. Okay, and now the rules here, I'm going to go through them quickly and we'll start working on them. The first thing we need to do is that we're going to name the longest chain to which the OH group is attached. Remember, that carbon that has the OH group is our priority because that is the OH group that gives it the identity of that class. We're now going to use the hydrocarbon name. Now, since mainly we're going to be talking about the single bonds, so you're going to use the hydrocarbon name, which is the alkane name, and then you're going to replace, remember it stops with the E, you're going to replace this E with OL, which gives it the functional class. That will give it that functional name, OL, at the end of the day. So if it is pentane, it becomes pentanol. We're going to see that example as we move on. Now, we number the longest chain to give the lowest numbering to the carbon to which the OH group is attached. That is what we do. And then we're going to locate the OH group by position number of the carbon atom to which is attached. Again, we locate and name any other attachment or groups to that longest chain. We combine the names and the location of other groups. Of course, combine the location of the OH group and the longest chain into the final one. And again, you have to alphabetize. I don't put this. Alphabetize where necessary. If it is necessary, you have to alphabetize where necessary. Note, alcohols containing 2 groups, alcohols can at times contain 2 OH groups. They are named as diols. Those of them that contain 3 groups are named as triols. Those of them with 4 groups are named as tetraiols. So the IUPAC name is not going to be ending by just all. Those of them that contain 2 end by diol. Look at it. diol. Okay, this is going to end by diol, whereas the ones that contain 3 will end by triol instead of all. All right. So now let us immediately begin to practice what we've just talked about. Now, before we do that, remember the phenols were covered in the phenols. We covered it in the aromatic compounds. However, it's good I talk about it a little bit again. Now, so phenols or aromatic alcohols. You can say naming aromatic alcohols. Aromatic alcohols, yeah. So aromatic alcohols are named as substituted phenols. What they mean is that phenol is their main backbone. So they are named as the derivative of phenol. So you have to have a phenol there. If you name it, the phenol must come in. And we have already covered this in the aromatics. We've already covered this already. However, now this is the structure of phenol. A benzene ring that has an OH group is a phenol. So let's name this. Remember again, in naming this again, remember when we talked about the Greek, we still remember the Greek prefixes we talked about. The Greek prefixes that has to do with when there are 2 attachments. If you have only 2 attachments to them, remember this, 2 attachments, we use the Greek O, M, and P. O, it is in carbon 1 and 2, M in carbon 1 and 3, and P in carbon 1 and 4. So those will also apply where necessary. So let's name this one the first one. Of course, this is going to be carbon number 1. And then if you count like this is going to be 4. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. This is 1 and 3. So it's going to be M, 1, 3, M. So, or you can also name it as 3. So this is going to be now, this is nitro in carbon 3. So this is going to be 3 nitrophenol. Or since it's located in 1 and 3, we're going to say M nitrophenol. Both of them are correct. Anyone you name in exam is very correct. Again, remember, this OMP has to do with when you have only 2 attachments. When you have 1 and 3 attachments, it cannot go. You must have to use numbering. Now, let's look at this one now. If you look at this one now, there are 2 attachments, the bromine and ethyl. Ethyl is E, bromine is B. So bromine is going to come first because this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3. The same number from both sides. So to break the tie, we go alphabetically. So we're going to go to the right. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So putting bromine first, this is going to be, again, this is a phenol ring. Remember that? The phenol is the parent compound. So we're going to put the attachment. So it's going to be 3 bromo, 5 ethyl. I'm going to put ethyl as small letter. 5 ethyl. Again, phenol is their parent chain. All of them must have a phenol because they are all derivatives of phenol. All aromatic alcohols are derivatives of phenols. So this is the much we're going to do because we've already covered this in the aromatic group, just the last lesson before we started this one. All right, we covered it in the last module rather before we started this one. So we've covered it already. This is how much we're going to go here. Let's now go to what we need to do, which is the real nomenclature of aliphatic alcohol. Now let's start with this one. This one says, which of the following is the common name for this alcohol? Remember when I told you earlier, ethyl alcohol has a ethyl group attached to it, which is ethanol. Methyl alcohol has a methyl group. So what we're going to do, we're going to identify what group is this and put alcohol to it. So if you count this now, 1, 2, 3, 4, like a Christmas tree, this is what we call the tert butyl. This is the only tert butyl that has an OH group. So how are we going to name it? It's going to be tert butyl alcohol. So this is going to be tert butyl alcohol. Remember, you can also say T-butyl. Is another name for the T-butyl alcohol. So we now look for the answer. The correct answer is going to be number 2. That is how you do this problem. Now, let's immediately take it to where I have enough nomenclature here. So now, always feel free to pause this video, try out some of this yourself, and come back and see what I've just done. That pays a lot, so that practice will always enhance your competence. Let's see what's going on here. It says, write the IUPAC name for each of the following. Write the IUPAC name for each alcohol. Let's start with the first one. Let's begin to follow the rules. We're going to identify the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the longest chain is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, okay, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to count again. Now, remember, our reference point is on alcohol, not on nothing else. It's on OH group. The OH group is attached at carbon number 4. But if I decide to count alternatively from this way, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, the alcohol group gets number 4 from here and gets number 2 from here. What it means is that the red counting is going to go. So this is not the correct counting. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take it off. So this is the counting that is going to suffice. The one I did with green is going to suffice. So now the longest chain is pentane because it's an alcohol. It's going to be pentanol. Then we now look for the attachment. What are the attachments? There's an attachment only in carbon number 4. There's no other attachment. So what are we going to say? We're going to put it first. Remember, the prefix comes first. So it's going to be 4. This is a methyl group. 4 methyl. Now, the OH group is attached to carbon number 2. We're going to say where it's attached. We're going to locate it. It's going to be in carbon number 2. 2. The hydrocarbon chain is what? Pentane. We're going to say pentane. Remember here now, it's going to be Ne. No, we're not going to put the Ne anymore. We're going to throw away the E and then bring in OL. So this is called 4-methyl-2-pentanol. That is exactly how we will name this alcohol. Now let's go to this one. Now this one is easy. This one has no attachment. So if you count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it gives it number 5, which is wrong. So I'm going to count from here to give it number 1. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, this is pentanol. But in this case, the OH group is located in carbon number 1. So it's easy. There's no attachment. So if there's no attachment, there's no branching. So what it means is that we're going to just remove the prefix. We're only going to name it, since this is what? Pentane. What are we going to do? It's pentane. We're going to remove the E. Okay, let me start removing it. I'm going to remove this. Again, I'm going to put what? OLE. So it's going to be pentanol. Now, where is this OH group attached in carbon number 1? I'm going to come here and say 1-pentanol. That is how we name this. All right. So now this is a cyclic one. Okay, before we get to this one, let's name this one. Let's name this one now. To name this one, you can always pause the video, try out this yourself, and then come back to it immediately. Come back to it and see what I have just done. All right. So if I count again, let's see. Let's try to count. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anywhere I count from, the longest chain is 6. So I'm going to take the one that is linear here, the one that is horizontal here. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If this is 6, and granted, he has already given us the OH group number 2, because if I count from here, it's going to be too far. So it's in carbon number 2. What it means, I have an attachment. Look at the 2 attachments I have. And I have an attachment in carbon number 4 and in carbon number 5. And this attachment is isopropyl. Remember that? And this attachment is metal. So let's now name it. Let's put everything together. To put everything together, what are we going to do? Which one comes first? Isopropyl is I, comes before metal. I comes before M. So it's going to be 4 isopropyl. That's what we're going to have. 4 isopropyl. Then in number 4, in number 5, we have in carbon 5, we have metal. 5 metal. And then where do we have the OH group? In carbon number 2. 2 was the longest chain, hexane. So we're going to say hexanol. 2, these 6 carbons, hexane, hexanol. So this is going to be called 4 isopropyl, 5 methyl, 2 hexanol. When I go to this one, the last in this page, let's see now. This, if you look at it, the first thing that comes to your mind, remember when we talked about the cycloalkanes. All cyclic compounds usually undergo this cis and trans isomerism. So it's going to happen. So to tell you now, when you use a thick wedge and a dash wedge, what does that tell you? It tells you it's a trans. That's the first thing you need to understand here now. Now we're going to count again based on the location of the OH group. Has to be carbon number 1. Now if this is carbon number 1, if you want to locate this, this is a methyl group, of course. Remember, this is a methyl group. So if you want to locate this, if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, it gives it 4. This is too far. But if you come from here, 1, 2, 3. This gives it number 3. Very good. Since this is number 3, what do we do next? So we're going to locate it. So it's going to be, remember, whenever you have the cis and trans, it must come first. So this is trans. We're going to say trans.
What it simply means is that two of them are oriented on different sides. That's what trans means, just to remind you. So this is going to be trans. Again, where is methyl group located? 3. Oh, I put it already. Trans. 3 methyl. Remember, the parent chain here is, the parent chain is cyclopentane. This time it's cyclic. So we're going to say that. Now, remember, when we're talking about cyclic structures, you need not to specify where the functional group or the OH or attachment is, particularly when it is just located in carbon. When it is only, if there are two OH groups, we're going to locate where they are. But since there is only one, you don't need to do that. However, if you also give me this in the exam, so like some students do that, it's okay. If you still want to say one cyclopentanol, that is okay. But no need to do that. So this is going to be trans 3-methyl cyclo. You see, I didn't say one cyclo. So cyclopentanol. Trans 3-methyl cyclopentanol. This is a cyclopentane. Now, since you remove the E and put O, it becomes cyclopentanol. Again, I did not put one because I know it is equivalent, because it's only one of them that is attached. Anywhere I put this one, it's going to always be number 1. All right. And this is how you name this one. All right. We now continue from there immediately. It's a right Diopac name for the following. Again, I have a couple of other names here. Yes, it's good to always practice this to get perfect. Okay. Now let's count. Again, we're going to count. The OH group gets carbon number 1. Look for the longest chain. If you count this one, see, this is going to be, if I count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have a long chain. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This gives me the long chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the long chain. If this is the long chain, what that tells us is that this is an attachment. What is the name of this attachment? Remember, you have to memorize this attachment by now. This is tet-butyl. And the longest chain is 6. So the one attachment is easy. We just put it. So this is going to be, it's located in carbon number 3. So it's going to be 3-tet-butyl. 3-tet-butyl. Where is this located? In carbon number 1. 1-hexanol. 3-tet-butyl, 1-hexanol. Now let's look at this one. Let's talk about this one. Now for this one, again, we'll look at the longest chain. Let's count. If you count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, all these are 6 anywhere I count from. So I'm going to count from the straight one. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my longest chain. Remember, we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, longest chain 2. So we don't want to use that one. Now, what attachment is this? Let's count it. This is 1, 2, 3. This is propyl. So this attachment is propyl group. This is actually the propyl group. So if this is the propyl group, only one attachment makes it easy for us. So, and it's in carbon number 3. So let's name it. This is going to be 3-propyl. Now, OH group is located in carbon number 2. It's going to be 2, again, hexanol. 3-propyl, 2-hexanol. And now we go to this one. Oh, now let's go to this one before we go. Now, you see this one now? This is a contrast to the last one we did about this one. I told you, no need to put the 1 because here, there is only one OH group. Now, look at what's going to happen here. There are 2 of them here. So you have to specify where they are placed. Now, see if you count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This gives you also 1, 2, 3, 4. So anywhere I counted, it's going to be 4. So I'm going to say 1. This is, okay, no. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to give me 4. So now, so what it means is that I have OH group, 2 OH group in carbon number what? 1 and carbon number 4. So I'm going to say where there's no attachment granted. So it's easy here, since we don't have any attachment. So if there are attachments, we're going to put them first, but there's no attachment. So we'll go straight. What is this ring? This ring is cyclohexane. So we know it's going to be cyclohexanol. But now there are 2. Remember we said when there are 2, it's going to be diol. So it's going to be cyclohexane diol. Now, where are they located? 1, 4. So we're going to say 1, 4. Let me use a different color. Let me use my blue. So it's going to say 1, 4
So remember, numbers are separated by comma. Cyclohexane diol. Cyclohex. That diol does. Let me make sure I didn't write it to confuse you. Oh no, I don't like that D. I want to write it in such a way. Okay, good. So this is 1,4-cyclohexane. So you've located it. The OH group is the carbon number 1 and 4, and it's a cyclohexane because there are 2 of them. You have to put diol. Again, that's how you name this. Now we have another one interesting. This one is not. This one, granted, this is not a cyclic chain. So it is an open chain. However, there are 3 attachments. Let's look at it. There's an attachment here. There's an there are 3 OH groups, not attachment. There are 3 OH groups, functional groups. So it's going to be OH, OH, and OH. Let's count. If you count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it gives it 4. But if you count from here, it becomes 1, 2, 3. So you have 1, 3. This is too far. So I'm going to take the 1, 2 side. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4. So the longest chain is butane. Now, so there are 3. That means it's going to be butane triol. Butane triol. But where are they located? Let's see. So the locations is 1. OH group is in carbon number 1, carbon number 2, and carbon number 4. So we're going to write it first. It's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, then the last one is in carbon number 4. Now it's butane, the longest chain, 4 carbon. So it's going to be butane. Now, in this case, when you are naming these ones, because there is a consonant, the T is a consonant, you can leave your E here. So it's going to be butane triol. You have to include your E this time. You don't need to remove it. But if it's only one of them, you have to remove it. But here, the E has to come in and then you put. So there is 1, 2, 4 butane triol. It's a triol because it has 3 OH groups. 3 OH group, 3 OH groups or 3 alcohol functional groups. So it is a triol. That is how we name this. Now we're coming to the end. The last but not the least of this will be, we're now going to try to draw the structures of alcohol from what? From their name. That's what we're going to do. Again, how do we do this? Like we've been doing in all the nomenclatures. We're going to first of all draw the longest chain and put the functional group. So it is 2-heptanol. That means it's 7. And OH group is in carbon number 2. So I'm going to draw the longest chain first. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can easily number this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Having done that, what do I do? The next thing I do is to pull my alcoholic group is in OH, carbon number 2. So I have my 2-heptanol. Then what will be the next thing? The next thing I want to do now is to add my attachment. So the first attachment is bromo. Bromo is in carbon number 5. So carbon number 5, I put bromine. And then methyl group is in carbon number 3. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put what? Methyl group here. You can just leave it at dash. If you want to put your CH3, that is okay. So this is how we draw the structure of 5-bromo. 5-bromo, remember? 5-bromo, 3-methyl, 2-heptanol. All right, this one says trans-2-ethyl cyclohexanol. So the chain is a ring. It's cyclo what? Hexanol. And it only has 1. That's why we didn't say di. It just has 1 of it. So cyclohexane, I'm going to draw it here. This is, of course, the chain is going to be a cyclohexane. Now, it says trans. Let's look at what is happening. Trans says trans-2-ethyl. Ethyl. So ethyl is carbon number 2. So you can locate your OH group in it. So if I put my OH group here as OH, that means the other one is going to be in carbon number 2. So it's going to be 1, 2. Remember, this is going to be my carbon number 1. So what it means is that my 2 group is going to be in carbon number 2. Now look at what is going to happen. These are the only 2 things you have. You have to now begin to put your what? Your trans. Trans means you're going to use a wedge and a dash. So I'm going to use, okay. So what it means here, in the first one here, I'm going to use a thick line. I've already drawn this. I'm just going to make it thicker. This is, then here I'm going to use, for the ethyl group, I'm going to use this. Remember, ethyl group is this, and then you bend it. So there is a thick line, there's a wedge, making it a trans. And then trans 2, 1, 2, ethyl group is in carbon number 2, and this is cyclohexanol. This is the structure of this compound. And having said this, we've once again come to the end of this lecture. Thank you once again for listening. Bye.